Hey everyone, it's Nye, and welcome to another episode of Nye's Growing Space, the YouTube channel. And this is your dose of growth. So today's dose of growth is the difference between making bad decisions and mistakes. So when I was a teenager, I think I was like in a junior in high school, maybe senior, and I was living with my older cousin at the time, and I believe I told him, I was like, well, it was just a mistake. And that time he told me, he was like, there's a at a certain age, you go from making mistakes to bad decisions because basically you know better. So just a reminder that a dose of growth is probably not always going to be something that is just like an aha moment or something that's just going to make you motivated to go out and conquer the world. Sometimes a dose of growth is going to make you uncomfortable. Sometimes I'm going to make you have the uncomfortable thoughts and the uncomfortable feelings, because that is truly what growing is about. If you are not uncomfortable, then you're actually not growing. So if a dose of growth or anything that Nye's Growing Space has to offer you, or anything that you consume makes you a little bit uncomfortable, then that just means you're growing. So that doesn't mean to stop listening because you're a little bit uncomfortable and you don't want to hear about the growth that you need. It just means that you're growing and it's going to take some discomfort in order for you to get to that next level in your life. So the next thing I want to talk about is just the difference in the mistakes and bad decisions. So a mistake is, I would say when you're younger, a mistake is, you just didn't know better. You just didn't know better, so it was a mistake. You didn't really mean to cause any harm, any negative energies or anything like that. It was just a mistake. I know now, as being an adult, you make a mistake at work. Let's say you're doing a task or something and you delete something by accident, or you didn't do something and it was just an honest mistake. It was something that you didn't mean to do, but it caused some type of riffraff, some type of, consequence came from it, from the mistake. Now, what is a bad decision? So a bad decision is you knowing better. You know the difference between, you have two options basically. You have the option that is going to have less consequences and less negative things happen, and then you're going to have the option that has maybe a couple of consequences to it, and it's going to have a bad trickle down effect on everything else in life. So if you are making a bad decision, then you know the difference. You know that, hey, I'm going to choose to be in this relationship, and I know it's not a good relationship. I know it's not something that I need to be doing, but I'm going to go ahead and do it anyways. Or if you're, let's say, just on a lighter note, you choose not to study. If you're in school, if you're a college student or whatever it is, and you know that you're watching TV, you're binge watching all week long, all weekend long, and you know you have a test to study for. And you know that if you don't study for your test, then you may not pass. But it's not like a mistake would be, I didn't know I didn't have it. I didn't know I had a test to study for, so I didn't study. So that was my mistake. Or a mistake could be, oh, I noted down the wrong date that the test was for, so I was planning on studying at a later time. That's a mistake. But a bad decision is, you know that but you made a different decision. Now, I want you to be honest with yourself. Think of the times that you've made bad decisions, but you called them a mistake. And it, like I said, it's uncomfortable, but for you to know and to become aware of the bad decisions that you're making in your life is very important, because a lot of times we want to blame others, or we want to act like, oh my God, I don't know how these things keep happening to me. And we just want to act like we're so naive and oblivious, and we just think life is happening to us. But in reality, it's the bad decisions that we're making that is the reason why life is happening. Now, don't make excuses for yourself. Don't say, oh, I was in my 20s, so I didn't know any better. Or it was the kids and I was staying in the relationship for the kids. And, all of these different excuses that we make for ourselves as to why we made a bad decision. Now, don't get me wrong. if you make a bad decision and you're okay with dealing with the consequences, you're okay with accepting what your life is going to be like after that bad decision, then go right ahead. What I'm saying is, if you're an adult, do what you need to do. Make whatever decision you're going to make, but don't sit up there and make excuses for the bad decisions. Be honest with yourself, be honest with other people if that's what you have to do, and just take responsibility. Like, yep, I knew I was making that wrong. I knew I was making that bad decision and I did it anyways. So what? I'm dealing with the consequences. But don't sit and make the bad decision and then blame others and make excuses for yourself, because you're an adult. It's time to hold yourself accountable, which is the next thing. So if you become aware of the difference between you making a mistake and a bad decision, and you made a bad decision and you're like, okay, I'm honest, I did make a bad decision. Now it's time to hold yourself accountable. Say, I'm making a lot of bad decisions, and this is why I am where I am in my life, and I need to start holding myself accountable, and I need to start changing the decisions that I'm making. And that's how you hold yourself accountable. Start making different decisions. I know for a fact that if you're 25, 26, 27, or in your 30s or in your 40s, if you've been doing things the same way all of your life, then it is going to be hard to change your decisions. It's going to take a lot of self-awareness in order to change this. But it is essential that you know the difference between making the bad decisions and the mistakes, so that you can actually grow. You can learn from those bad decisions, and you know what not to do going forward. So that is your daily dose of growth. Know the difference between making a mistake and a bad decision, and own up to it. So think about the times that you made bad decisions, but you kind of called them a mistake, so that way it didn't seem as bad, or you wanted to seem like you didn't know. So I know I've been there plenty of times over, but once I got taught that lesson, it really was like a light bulb that went off in my head, and I'm like, I don't want to make too many bad decisions. So remember, if you found value in this video, that means somebody else would find value. So please make sure you subscribe and you share, and I will be back again with another dose of growth. Thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a good one.